Alright guys, this is kind of our last day of doing review type things, so we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing by monomials today. So starting with multiplying, just a quick review that if you have something like t squared times t to the third, okay, when you break that down, or you kind of expand it into what it's supposed to be, t squared means t times t, right? And t to the third is t times t times t. So when you kind of expand these out, it's going to look something like this. You got t times t times t times t times t. Okay, so when you have all of that, how many t's are you multiplying together there? You've got 5 of them total. So t squared times t to the third equals t to the fifth. And we've talked about the shortcut way of doing that is just anytime you have the same variable, all you have to do is add the exponents together. So 2 plus 3 gave us 5, and that's how we could have done it real quick right from the start. Okay, so a problem like this one, just focus up on this top line for a second. All right, we've got 4a squared times 6a to the sixth. Okay, multiplying monomials together. First, you're going to multiply the coefficients. So you're going to have 4 times 6, which is 24. Secondly, you're going to multiply the variables. A squared times a to the sixth. Again, you add the exponents, and that gives you a to the eighth. And so the whole thing together is going to give you 24a to the eighth, and that would be your final answer there. Okay? Again, just pretty much review for the most part here. One final example of this, remember, if you have two different variables, okay, you can never multiply the x times the y, you just kind of leave them separate. So you're going to do each piece of this separate. You're going to do the coefficients first. 3 times 8 is 24. X squared times x is x to the third, because remember, there's always an invisible 1 here for our exponent. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And then y to the third times y to the fourth is y to the seventh. And that is the answer there. All right? All right, good. So with that done, let's talk about dividing by monomials real quick. It's basically the same process, but instead of multiplying, we're dividing. Okay, so you're going to do each piece separately. First, the coefficients. 25 divided by 5 in this example. That equals 5. So there we go. So 25 divided by 5 is 5. We've got x squared divided by x. In this case, since we're dividing, you're going to subtract the exponents, right? So we've got 2 minus 1 is 1. So just x to the first power, right? Y to the third divided by y, subtracting, you've got 3 minus 1 is 2. So y squared. And then z divided by z, well, z to the first divided by z to the first, 1 minus 1 is 0, so there is no z in our answer. That would be our final answer there, 5xy squared. And this is the last example for this video. You can also divide a polynomial. In this case, we're going to look at dividing a binomial with two terms, dividing that by a monomial. Okay? So the way this works is you're going to take each term and divide it separately by this monomial. So here's what I mean. First, we're going to just completely ignore this piece right here. Completely ignore it. And we're going to do 18m to the fourth n squared divided by 3m squared n. Okay, so 18 divided by 3 is 6. M to the fourth divided by m squared is m squared. And n squared divided by n is n. Okay, so now we divided this first one. We've still got to divide this second term. Plus sign stays there. Okay, 6 divided by 3 is 2. M to the third divided by m squared is m. And n to the fourth divided by n is n to the third. That's going to be our final answer. And that is pretty much it for this lesson. Again, this is our last day of review, and we're going to be starting kind of newer stuff, maybe a little bit more difficult stuff later in the week.